Hello, everyone, and welcome to an overview of how to access disability services at Southern California theme parks. We appreciate you attending, and we're happy to share this information with you in order to make it easier for you to go and enjoy all of the great activities we have locally with your families. The first one we're going to go over is the Big House of Mouse, which is generally the one that people ask us about the most. So Disneyland and its partner park, Disney California Adventure, both use a program called the Disability Access Service, or DAS for short. This pass is good for up to 4 guests in addition to the person that it's registered to. You can now pre-register for the DAS on the Disneyland app or through the website through live video chat. This is available to you as soon as 30 days before your planned visit and can be done as late as 2 days before your visit. The person who the DAS is for must be present for the live video chat. It is recommended that you try and do this on a weekday or at the end of the day if possible. If you try and do this on a Saturday or a Sunday, the wait time can be pretty extensive. During this chat, you can also book 2 one-hour return windows for select experiences, and that's using the DAS advanced planning option. These are offered to you in addition to the normal benefits of the DAS. Now, when you register for the DAS, they cannot ask you for proof of disability. What they will ask you for is what your issues are with waiting and with using the regular line. So they don't really want to hear that you don't enjoy waiting in line, because obviously no one enjoys that, but it's more things like my child might have a meltdown, they might become overwhelmed, they might have sensory issues, they could become aggressive, they might elope, things of that nature, because they don't want your child's behaviors disrupting the experience of their other guests. And so that's really what makes you eligible for the DAS rather than specifically your diagnosis or not wanting to wait in line. So once you've registered for the DAS, it will remain active on your account for 60 days if you have a pass to the parks, or for the length of your ticket. So if you buy one of those 3-day tickets, you will not need to video chat to renew it. It'll be good for the whole time period that's covered. You can then also use the regular chat feature that's available through the Disneyland app or website to book your advanced planning return windows for any additional visits during this 60-day period. So if you are a pass holder and you want to go more than once during a 60-day period, it's not necessary to get in the line for video chat. The regular chat is a much quicker process. So you can also register for the DAS at Disneyland in person or at California Adventure in person. So you would either go to City Hall in Disneyland, which is to the left after you enter the park, or the Chamber of Commerce in California Adventure, which is also to the left once you enter the park, or to one of the many guest information kiosks that are located throughout the park. If there's a line at City Hall or Chamber of Commerce, it can be a lot quicker to move further into the park and find one of the kiosks, as they tend to have shorter lines. The DAS does not allow you to skip waiting, but it does give you a return time for each attraction, so you don't have to wait in the regular line. The return times tend to be shorter than what the actual wait is. So for example, if a ride says there's a 30-minute wait, your return time is generally around 15 to 20 minutes. These return times can be booked directly through the Disneyland app, which is by far the quickest and most efficient way to maximize the benefits that you get with the DAS, and it allows you to get more rides in with less wait time. However, you do also have the option to book them through City Hall, Chamber of Commerce, or at the various guest information kiosks that are located throughout the park. Once you've obtained your return time, you will access the rides in one of 2 ways. For larger attractions, you will return to the Lightning Lane and enter that line. The Lightning Lane has replaced what used to be called the Fast Pass Lane. So when you enter the Lightning Lane, there will be a bit of a wait, but it's usually not more than 5 minutes. So for smaller attractions that don't utilize the Lightning Lane, you go directly to the exit. Your DAS return time, once you've booked it on your app, will have barcodes for each member of your party that's going to be riding. Once these are scanned, which they either are scanned by the customer service person at the exit of the attraction, or there's a little stand where you scan it yourself for the ones with Lightning Lanes. The second you have scanned those barcodes, you have the ability to immediately book your next DAS return time. This lets you use any time you wait before boarding the attraction you're in line for, as well as the time that you spend on the attraction itself. That becomes part of your wait time for your next attraction. And when you go early in the morning or, on a Tuesday or whatever, if you're at a not very busy time, you can often just go from ride to ride to ride with utilizing this feature. Another nice thing on the Disneyland app is you can also use it to mobile order food from many of the dining locations in the parks. This allows you to order your food in advance, and you can select an arrival window to pick up your food, and allows you to avoid most of the longer food lines. Another service that can be really helpful for families with younger children is getting the stroller as wheelchair tag for your child's stroller. This means that you can take your stroller anywhere that a wheelchair is permitted, and your child can then remain in the stroller in many places that would otherwise be prohibited, which can be great for a kid who's having sensory overwhelm or who's tired or, what have you. It also allows you to bring the stroller into the disability seating areas for things like parades, which will allow you to have a much better seat without fighting your way to the front. So here are some screenshots of what the Disneyland app looks like. So over here, once you've hooked up your tickets, you can enter this information when you download the app. It will know who you are and greet you by name. It'll show any reservations you have. And this is what the screen looks like. Once I scroll down further, this is further down. This shows some pre-reserved times that I had. I took this screenshot while I was actually at Disneyland on March 10th. But as you can see, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad and Haunted Mansion were our advanced selection choices that we had made during our video chat. Space Mountain, I booked directly through the DAS on my app. So that's the nice thing about these. You can, with the DAS, the regular DAS, you can only have one return time at any one time, but these two advanced selections are on top of that. So once you are in the park and you want to book your DAS, there's these three little bars at the bottom of the home screen on the Disneyland app, and that will take you to this menu here. Anything you've planned in the future will be right here. So your DAS advanced selections will be there, the day that you're going to the park will be there, et cetera, and so forth. Once that day arrives, those reservations will move up here to My Genie Day. All right. So if you scroll further down, this is the same screen I just showed you, but you have to scroll down past future plans and all of that to get over here to Disability Access Service. This is where you're going to book all your rides. Right here is where you do the mobile food orders. So once you click on this button that says DAS, you get a list of all the rides. I just took 2 screenshots of a variety of different rides, and it'll tell you exactly what the standby wait time is at the time that you're looking for each ride. So once you decide which ride you'd like to select, you go ahead and click on that ride, and it'll take you to a screen that looks like this. It'll show you exactly what your return time is. It will tell you whether or not the ride has a lightning lane. It gives you this bar that kind of predicts the wait times, but I don't find this is highly all that accurate. And then there's also a button you can click if you're not sure how to get to the ride. It'll show you where it is on the map. So once you've decided, okay, I'm going on the Haunted Mansion, you click on this button that says Request DAS Return Time, and then it'll bring up this screen that confirms your party. So this is the name of my child that my DAS is registered to. And then this is the rest of my family that are also pass holders. So I can select all of us with this button or any one of us. The one caveat is once you have the DAS, the person who it's registered to does have to ride any ride that you're going to be utilizing this service for. And then if you hit continue, it'll pop up barcodes for everybody that you have registered. So a couple of helpful tips. The best way to get the most out of your experience at Disneyland is to arrive when the park opens. The ride wait times between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. are the shortest that you will encounter, and you can often get in many rides back to back when you go early. Another slower time is if you go after dinner. Most families come during the day, and a lot of people will leave after dinner. So that can also be a time where you'll have shorter ride waits. Weekdays are obviously going to be less crowded than weekends, and school holidays will be crowded. If you can afford it and you have enough time, especially if you're going to be in the parks for more than one day, having a hotel room can be extremely helpful. being able to go in the morning, do a bunch of rides, and then leave to take a midday break can make a tremendous difference. So if you're going to go for more than one day, I definitely recommend that. There are a variety of different hotels near the Disneyland Resort at all different price levels. Many of them will have bigger rooms with bunk beds, and a lot of them are quite kid friendly. Some things that are great to have with you are noise canceling headphones, if your child will tolerate those, favorite snacks and toys, fidgets, electronic devices, tablets, cell phones. All of those can be great for any wait or downtime you do have, so that your child has something with which to distract themselves. Especially for Disney, I recommend that you do not forget to bring a battery charger with you, because the app will eat your batteries, and you don't want your phone to die, because it's much more convenient to book these return times through the app. For sit-down restaurants in the parks and in downtown Disney, reservations are very helpful to avoid wait times. But if you don't have a reservation, the waits are going to be much shorter. If you go at off hours, like 11 a.m. when the restaurants first open for lunch, or 3 or 4 p.m. for dinner, there's just going to be a lot less people trying to get into the restaurants at that point. If you really want to go to a specific restaurant and the reservation is not available, there are paid sites such as mousewatcher.com where you can enter what day you're going and what restaurants you want, and they will text you and email you whenever a reservation opens up. So that can be a way if you're trying to get in, especially to one of the more popular restaurants such as Blue Bayou or Lamplight Lounge or Trader Sam's. Those are probably the 3 hardest to book restaurants. So Mousewatcher can be a great option in those circumstances. Also, Disneyland is still utilizing a reservation system. So in addition to a ticket, you do have to have a reservation for the day that you want to go. According to all the Disneyland pass holder pages I'm on, Disneyland does not intend to ever discontinue the reservation system. It apparently has made it much easier for them to manage staffing and make sure that they have the correct staff for the crowd level that they'll have. So keep in mind that reservations are required for Disney. If you're trying to get a reservation and one is not available, sometimes if you wait until evening, especially around 8 to 12, a lot of times people will cancel their reservations and you can pick them up there. If you're trying to make dinner or meal reservations at any of the Disney restaurants, those are dropped on the app and on the website 60 days out. So if you're planning in advance, that's a great way to make sure you can get a reservation. If you get on right at 6 a.m., when it's 60 days from the day you will be there, that's when the reservations are added online. Another great park that I know my family enjoys a lot is Knott's Berry Farm. They're about 10-15 minutes away from Disney, and they use the boarding pass program for guests with disabilities. You obtain the boarding pass by going to guest services, which is located just across from their large wooden roller coaster called Ghost Rider. So when you go into the park, you would go to the left and you have to go some distance past the entrance to Ghost Rider and all the way to the exit. And that's where guest services is, across from the exit of Ghost Rider. So the boarding pass is good for up to 4 people in addition to the person is assigned to, and you do need to bring the person for whom the pass would be for with you into guest services. The customer service person will need to see them. The person that the boarding pass is assigned to does not need to wear a wristband, but they will give you wristbands to wear for all other members of your party. And if you lose them, you will have to go back to guest services and get another one, or else you will not be allowed to board using this system. So for your first ride, you present the boarding pass at the exit of the ride, and they will give you immediate access onto the ride. You might have to wait 1 or 2 cycles, but it's pretty much immediate. They will then write down a return time on your boarding pass. And that return time is when you can use it to go on your next ride. You can use it for any ride of your choice. But the return time that they give you is based on the current ride for the ride you're at. So if you go to a ride, one of the roller coasters, for example, that has maybe an hour-long wait, you will not be able to use the boarding pass for 1 hour. You do have to obtain a new boarding pass each day that you visit the park, and there is no electronic option. So here's what the boarding passes look like. So on the front of it, they'll put the person's name, and it gives you a little bit of instructions as to how the boarding pass is used. And then on the back, they'll give you the date, how many people in your party, and then they'll start giving you these return times where they write them down. And this is what you will be showing each time to the ride operators. So helpful hints for Knott's. You don't have to worry about reservations. They do not use a reservation system anymore. But again, I highly recommend that you arrive when the park opens. The ride wait times between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. are going to be the shortest of the day. And you often can get in many rides back to back if you go early enough. They also have a little bit of a dip in attendance later in the evening, especially on weekdays. Weekdays are less crowded than weekends. And again, school holidays are always going to be crowded. If you're up at Knott's for more than a day, if you can swing having a hotel room, it's going to be great and helpful for you, because then you can go take a midday break, and it can just really be helpful as a reset to get away from all of the noise and commotion and go someplace quiet for a little bit. Again, I would definitely recommend noise canceling headphones for anyone who will tolerate them, as well as having snacks and toys and fidgets and things of that nature with you. And for sure, it's good to have some electronic devices. Battery chargers are great, but you won't have your phone die as fast at Knott's as you will at Disneyland, because you don't have to use an app the entire time you're there. They do not allow you to use the boarding pass at Knott's Soak City, but you can use it for their Halloween event, Knott's Scary Farm. Knott's Scary Farm is a separate ticketed event that they run through mid-September through Halloween. That's a haunted house event where they do have rides open, but then there's like 6 or 8 haunted attractions that you can go through as well. So the next park that we're going to go over is Universal Studios Hollywood, which is obviously located in Hollywood. Universal is movie themed, and in addition to having a variety of different rides, they have a lot of different shows as well as a studio tram tour. So they use a program called the Attraction Assistance Pass. This is also a paper pass that you must obtain at each visit. You'll visit guest relations once you enter the park, which is on the right-hand side, and the attraction pass is good for up to 3 additional guests plus the person it's issued to. You then take the attraction pass with you to whatever ride you wish to access. And if the wait is 45 minutes or less, you'll be directed to join the Universal Express lane for the bigger rides, or just through the exit for the smaller rides, and they'll put you right on. However, if the wait is more than 45 minutes, you will be given a return time that's equal to that wait. Like I said, the attraction pass gets you priority entrance to many of the shows at Universal, and it can also get you into an alternate waiting area for the shows. You can also use this for Universal's Halloween event, which is very similar to Knott's. It's called Hollywood Horror Nights and features a variety of different haunt attractions, as well as you have access to all of the rides during that time. Here are some photos of what the Attraction Assistance Pass looks like. The front will be like this. It'll have a date, the name of the person it's assigned to, and how many people are in your party. And then on the back, there's a place for them to write down return times. So again, my #1 tip for pretty much any park you ever visit is to arrive when it first opens, if at all possible. The ride wait times between 9 and 12 are going to be the shortest, and you can get more rides in back-to-back. Weekdays are less crowded. You'll see a lot of crowds on school holidays. And again, having a hotel room can be very helpful, and having that midday break can really help reset everyone's mood and, you know, give people a little bit more energy once they get away from the lines and the crowds. Again, I definitely recommend noise canceling headphones, snacks, fidgets, cell phones, devices, whatever you need to be able to keep your child entertained in between attractions. One nice thing about Universal is if the park is busy and the restaurants there are crowded, there are a lot of food options in the nearby Universal City Walk, probably twice as many restaurants as they have at Downtown Disney. And they have a pretty nice variety from nicer sit-down restaurants to fast food and other quick options. So it gives you a little bit more options as far as food. Now, if you'd like to go slightly farther from San Diego, you can go up to Six Flags Magic Mountain. This is especially a good park if you have children who are really into roller coasters. It has the most roller coasters at any park on the West Coast, and they are not small roller coasters. They have some really big, serious roller coasters there. So the pass they offer is called the Attraction Accessibility Program. And in order to use this program, you first have to obtain an individual accessibility card through IBCCES, which is the International Board of Credentialing and Continuing Education Standards. This can be done online at accessibilitycard.org. It's very easy. You fill out a short form detailing what your loved one's needs and issues are. And then you receive an Myiac that's good for 1 year. And it's at any participating park that works with this system. And the website has a list of every park that is a part of this. You do need to upload proof of disability. The site specifically says something from a medical professional, but I have registered my children for the last 2 years using an IEP cover page as proof of diagnosis. So that's also an option. Another nice thing about Six Flags Magic Mountain is that they are a certified autism center. And this requires that their staff have extra training on disability and autism. And they are required to recertify and institute more training each and every year. They do not have a standard stated wait time for their program. But when I've used this pass in the past with my children, we've had virtually no wait time for any attraction. I think the most we've ever waited is 5 to 10 minutes. So you can definitely tell that they've got more autism training at Six Flags than at some of the other parks. So it's nice that they've received that certification and the training that goes along with it. So here's a picture of what your Myiac looks like. So my Sweet Patrick's Myiac, it's got a number on it, and it lists like some of what the things that I had said that were hard for him. You know, he can't necessarily always stand for a long time. He's sensitive to light, sensitive to noise, sensitive to crowds. And so this is what you show when you go to the park. Again, just like all of the other parks, these suggestions are very similar. Get there as early as you can. It's going to make a huge difference. Weekdays are going to be less crowded. School holidays are going to be crowded. They do also offer mobile food ordering through their app, which is really nice because you can skip the food lines, and the food lines at Six Flags Magic Mountain tend to get quite long. So the mobile food ordering can really be a time saver. Especially with the distance that this hotel is from San Diego. I think if you wanted to get there at opening, you might have to leave like at 4 in the morning. So I do recommend a hotel room as being very helpful if you're going this far. And again, it's great for that midday break. I definitely recommend all of the other things that would help your child be happy and satisfied and calm in the park, such as headphones and snacks and fidgets, just as with any other outing. Okay, our next park is we're getting back closer to home, and that would be Legoland, which is located in Carlsbad. Legoland California uses the Assisted Access Pass, which you get at Guest Relations, which again is to the right once you enter the park. It's good for up to 4 guests in addition to the person who it's assigned to, and it's a paper pass that you must obtain each time you visit. For your first ride, there is no wait, and you will be boarded immediately through the exit of the attraction. You're then issued a return time for your next attraction, which is based on the wait times that are currently happening in the park. You can also get a companion ticket or pass, which allows a caretaker to attend for free for each person with a disability. So if you had a ticket, you would go to guest services or the ticketing booth, the guest services that's located by the ticketing booths outside of the park and say, hey, I'm taking my disabled child. I do need to get this companion ticket. If it's a pass, they will put a sticker on your child's pass, and you won't have to do it each time. You'll just have to do it once. Legoland also offers the stroller as a wheelchair option, which again is very helpful as it allows your child to remain in the stroller in areas they otherwise would not be able to. It's certainly good if your child's feeling overwhelmed and is overstimulated. Legoland is still utilizing a reservation system. So I don't know how long that will still be in effect, but definitely before you visit, make sure that you have a reservation, or that at some point they probably might discontinue that, but that's something to be aware of. In addition to a ticket, you do need to have a reservation for the day that you're attending. One nice thing about Legoland is because it is built for smaller children, there's a lot of activities to fill in the time between rides. There are water play areas, there's water features, there's like actual playgrounds and play structures. There's a couple of different Lego building areas. So there's a lot of different things you can do when you're waiting for your next return time. And also it's great as far as getting out all that extra energy and wiggles out of your kids. So this is what the assisted access pass looks like. It's actually a brochure that explains the different disability services in the park, and it's just on the back is the access pass. And here's where they'd write down, like, you know, your return times and your name and all of that. So again, get there first thing, especially this one. You don't have to drive too far from San Diego. It's really better if you can get there when it's early. You're definitely gonna have shorter wait times. Legoland, like some of the other parks that cater to younger crowds, if you go after dinner, it also tends to be less crowded. That would not be the case for Six Flags or Universal. Those often get more crowded in the evenings. So again, make sure you bring snacks, bring fidgets, bring toys, bring headphones if your child will tolerate them. So another park here in San Diego is SeaWorld San Diego, and SeaWorld offers the ride accessibility program, and when you apply, which gives you what's called the special access pass. This one again is a paper pass that you obtain each time you visit from guest relations, which is to the right once you enter the park. It's good for up to 5 guests in addition to the person the pass is assigned to. You can also get a free companion ticket or pass for each disabled person in your group, which allows 1 free entrance per caretaker per person. Once you've obtained the special access pass, you'll go to the exit of the smaller rides and will be able to board immediately. For the larger attractions, you'll go to the ride entrance and show your pass to the team member there, and they will issue a return time that's the same as the current wait time. SeaWorld is also another place that offers the strollers wheelchair tag, which is helpful, especially if you want to go to any of the animal shows, because they'll allow you to sit in the disability seating area and to get priority timing to get seats. They also are a good place as far as providing a lot of different activities for downtime. They have an arcade. There's a lot of different animal exhibits that you can walk through. There's some play areas. There's a touch pool. So there's a lot of things to do to keep your child occupied in between rides. So again, getting there early is your best bet. If you avoid weekends and school holidays, that's going to make you have less of a wait. Make sure to bring the items that will keep your child happy and satisfied. And if you have a smaller children, there's a Sesame Street themed area that has some smaller, like kiddie type of rides, which can be really fun. So the San Diego Zoo and Safari Park also offer disability services. One thing they offer is a free entrance for a caregiver for each guest with a disability. You do need to do this at the ticket booth the day you attend if it's just a one-day ticket. And if you're getting a pass, you would get this set up and they put a sticker on your child's pass saying that they have this caregiver pass. The nice thing about the caregiver pass being assigned to the child is it can be used for more than one caregiver. So say I want to take my child to the zoo this week, but next week I'd like my respite care provider. We can both be a caregiver on a different day. Another thing that they offer at the zoo and the safari park is that they've teamed up with Culture City to offer sensory bags called KC VIP bags. These bags contain noise canceling headphones, fidgets, and a special badge on a lanyard that can be worn to indicate that you need special assistance. They also have weighted lap pads available, and these items are loaned out to guests and are free of charge. They also offer the early access pass, and this can be used for the tram at the safari park and at the guided bus tours and the Skyfari at the zoo. It allows you to wait outside of the line for the guests with a disability and up to 3 guests. So it makes it much easier to get on these. I know the tram at the safari park specifically can get quite long. Again, my suggestions are the same. The earlier you get there, the better it's going to be. as far as crowd levels. Being on a weekday is going to be easier than a weekend, and school holidays are always crowded. And be sure to bring the things that you need to keep your child happy and satisfied. But remember that at this location, you can access those KC VIP bags if you need them, which is really a nice thing. Another thing I wanted to talk about that is not an amusement park, but is another nice feature that I wanted to let people know about, is that the National Park Service offers the National Park Access Pass. This is offered to US citizens or permanent residents that have a permanent disability. It can be issued to anybody that is a citizen or resident of any age that has been medically determined to have a permanent disability, which autism is a permanent disability. So you can apply for this online. It's $10 and it's good for the entire rest of your life. And it's good at every national park in the entire United States. And if you don't want to apply online, you can also get these in person at any of the national parks. So some final thoughts and summary. Basically, keep in mind, if you're going to a park or amusement entertainment center, it's always going to be easier to go on a weekday that's not a holiday. That's going to be your lowest crowd time. A weekend in January, February, September is going to be better than going on spring break or in July. I mean, you just have to keep in mind that the times kids are out of school are just going to be busier. It is what it is. It's very important to remember to bring things to distract, entertain, and comfort your child. Bring snacks, bring toys, bring electronic items, bring fidgets, bring the things that will make your child be happy if they're waiting in line, so they have something to distract themselves with. Another thing I really suggest is to pay attention to your child and read them. It's much better to cut a visit short and try again than to try and power through tiredness and sensory overload, because that's just a recipe for disaster. If you can make it for 2 hours successfully, that's a win. And it's better to have 2 hours that go well and leave than to hang on for another hour and work your kid into a sensory overload, because then they're going to be less inclined to want to go next time. Being able to take a midday break can be super helpful, whether it's at a hotel, if you can swing that, or you could maybe leave the park and go to a restaurant or one of the sit-down restaurants in the various parks, or even just find a quiet area, because just being able to get away from all the noise and chaos can really help our kids get themselves more regulated. I definitely recommend you pace yourself and try and resist the pressure to get on every ride or every exhibit. I mean, I feel you. If you're paying for Disney, you want to get the most out of it, but you also have to make sure that you're not driving yourself to the point where you're all going to be overwhelmed. Another thing that we will have more information on soon is Sesame Place. They are opening in San Diego on March 26th. There's no information available right now about their disability services, but we do anticipate that they will be similar to SeaWorld, as they're both owned by the same entity. This park will be interesting because it is a combination of rides and water park in one. So we definitely look forward to checking this out and having a new place to go here in San Diego. So that's the end of my presentation, and thank you so much. And we hope that you all are able to enjoy our parks and have a great time accessing these services. They certainly will make it easy for you to be able to enjoy the parks with your loved ones. Thank you.